Hello, brothers and sisters and Hard Dwells family. Forgive me for the long pause in messages. We've been at the land clearing it, and I'm excited to share with you guys video footage of clearing the land for the city of God, and just an update as to what's going on, what needs to be done, and how you can help. But these are some messages I'll be sharing on the channel that I haven't had a chance to actually record and put on. So please forgive me once again. And thank you guys for being so patient and gracious with me. So this message I received after coming back from a family function where much was revealed to me upon my trip back home into my city. I started feeling very weird. I just couldn't put my hands on it. I physically felt shaky, very uneasy, no peace and anxious thoughts. I thought I was physically coming down with something. Initially, I thought I just needed rest because coming back from Uganda, I literally landed, then I had to travel 8 hours to a nearby town. Was on my feet and helping, sleeping late nights, so I thought it was a physical thing. But I just felt off. And then I got the rhema, this kind comes up by fasting and prayer. When I pulled that rhema, I was having a slight misunderstanding with Father Derrick about something, and thought, okay, it's about fasting and praying for marriages again. Then a couple days later, still feeling so groggy and off, I got the rhema again. Now, through my rhema cards, it said this kind comes out by fasting and prayer. I had a dream that night before where there was a black rubber band on the ground before me as I sat. It began to speak to me, shining with green light. It asked me, is God powerful over all? I said, of course he is. God is all-powerful and all-sovereign. Then I rushed up the street to help a woman in distress. She had scratches on her leg, and I prayed for her to be healed. I was up on a high tower of some sort. I could look down to see where I was sitting before. I noticed that black rubber band was now inflating and turning into a big black muscled arm and squeezing out everyone who was sitting there. I knew I had to go and help them. I then rushed down a pole and noticed everything was so muddy. There was a trail I could walk where the mud was a bit dry, but for whatever reason, I ran to the muddy side and sank in, falling flat on my back. Then a woman who had a mannerism of a dog came and sat on top of me. I then had this urge or surge of power to lift her up and push her off of me. Before I could, I woke up. I thought, uh-oh, that's not a good dream. The song came to my mind, He delivered me from the miry clay. I realized I was stuck and under some demonic attack. I then felt led for the first time to open Pastor James Kowale's book I got called Freedom from Bondages in My Father's House, asking the Lord for rhema, since I got that deliverance rhema again. I opened to Jezebel and Ahab's spirit. It said, it began, a mother's influence. Consider your own mother. Who is she? What gods did she bring into your father's house? Examine the tools your mother and or grandmother used to exert influence over the family. Then look at the gods they were serving. This should begin to show you what you're dealing with. Jezebel in the house. From my years of experience in deliverance, I can confidently tell you that the problem of many people's marriages is the spirit of Jezebel and curses from mothers or women brought by their fathers. Daughters and sons of Jezebel always portray their mother's spirit. That is the spirit of rebellion, seduction, control, and manipulation. They fail in their marriages because they desire to control their spouses excessively. They resort to witchcraft because they're desperate for control, like their mother Jezebel. Some families are under judgment already because they married sons and daughters of Jezebel. There are women who, unless they receive deliverance, they will cause every man they mate with to lose everything he has and become destitute while she prospers. If your mother was a priestess, a practitioner of deep witchcraft, a manipulative character, a known witch in the village or medium, know for certain that a curse is hovering over you. Begin serious prayer seeking your deliverance and the deliverance of your father's house, because the whole family was defiled by the act of your mother or grandmother. Ahab in the house. Through witchcraft manipulation, many men today adopt behaviors that cause their wives and children to disrespect them. They hand over all responsibility of the homes to their wives and choose to give their lives to pleasure, living as playboys even in old age. Most of these men were boys raised by a dominant mother who are themselves possessed by the spirit of Jezebel. The sons never really mature. They end up submitting to women like their mothers. These are men under the spirit of Ahab. They're always undecided and are not able to make decisions. They will seldom help their wives Even when the women struggle with sick children, these men would be most comfortable watching a ball game. They usually do not keep friendships and will tend to run away from the issues of accountability. In addition, they themselves learn to manipulate other men and will use friends for their own benefit. In many cases, men living under this bondage will also be involved in incest, sleeping with their sisters, cousins, even their own daughters. Their inner drive for pleasure also opens doors for other seducing spirits that drive them far from the platform of manhood. Many of these men practicing homosexuality have the Ahab spirit somewhere hidden in their lives. If you're such a man, pray and seek deliverance. If your husband or your fathers are such men, that is the cause of your problems. Begin to pray seriously against the spirit of Jezebel and Ahab, which is against your marriage and children. I thought, wow, no, Lord, really? So I had one of the intercessors, Ella, come over to pray, and I didn't tell her what was going on, but a dream that my sister-in-law also had about snakes around the house, and she immediately said, you're dealing with a Jezebel spirit. That's what the Holy Spirit's telling me. There are many who come and go around the house who don't have good intentions. They come across one way but have different motives. Then I shared the readings that I got, trying to make sense of what the Lord has shown me, because many of the descriptions from the book didn't fit us at all. And as an aside, I was trying to connect the traits in my life and that of my beloved's life. I could see some of these things from our family history and bloodline, but not in us. So we both sought the Lord and prayed. I cried out for deliverance from every Jezebel spirit and Ahab spirit attacking my gifts in the Lord, my marriage, and my future. Towards the end of our intercession, I felt electricity shoot through my body. My whole body was electrified so intensely that I couldn't continue praying, but was quiet as Ella continued on. Once we got done, I felt completely different. Something had lifted. I was delivered. So the following morning, I sought the Lord about the readings you gave me and the fast you had me do for deliverance against the Jezebel spirit and Ahab spirit. Lord, was I possessed by one, or was I being oppressed by that spirit attacking me? I was still a bit confused, guys. Jesus began, my beloved, you are cursed, you and many of my brides. However, the Jezebel spirit also runs heavily in your bloodline. Look at many of the marriages in your mother's house and your father's house. By tradition, you come from a very matriarchal background, and the women are given much respect and honor. And because of this, the Jezebel spirit can easily operate, and has been raising many Ahabs and destroying many marriages in your family. This, accompanied with many other demons, is what has been oppressing you and your beloved. This is also one of the many spirits oppressing many of my heart dwellers. She is the woman in the white that showed herself in one of your intercessors' vision. And as inside, one of the intercessors had a vision or dream where this albino-looking woman came into her room, accompanied with all these other demons, and she didn't know what it was. Jesus continued, Jezebel works easily through rejection and pain. When that is found in a soul and bitterness takes root in the heart, she easily comes to cause manipulation of that pain, turning it inward, and then she has entrance, where she can even possess a soul, and then use them to manipulate others because of the pain and trauma they have been through, or control situations because of that pain. She desires, more importantly, to silence my prophets and servants. This Jezebel spirit is not a gender. It can work through a man or a woman, and it attacks all my servants one way or the other. She's accompanied always by many demons, so you begin to bind the symptoms, not realizing she is the gatekeeper behind them. Demons such as heaviness, slothfulness, dryness, feeling weary or drained. Demons such as heaviness, slothfulness, dryness, feeling weary or drained, as if the life has been sucked out of you. So you bind the vampire spirit, but you leave Jezebel. This spirit loves to stay hidden because many have perceived it to be a woman who is promiscuous and controlling, or someone who doesn't yield to authority and orders in my church. But that is not all. When you feel oppressed, beloved, you can't think clearly. You become insecure and sure of yourself and my directives. When you feel an overwhelming sense of giving up because of feeling stuck, not able to move forward or confident in the gifts I've given you to use, you can ensure there's a Jezebel spirit around. I'm glad you renounced its influence and commanded it to leave, the Jezebel and Ahab spirit, out of your life and that of your beloveds. With the lionesses I'm raising up in these last days, women who will preach the gospel and do greater works than their male counterparts, they must tread lightly with this authority and place of leadership, so far as not to usurp their husbands in any way. Jezebel is lurking and wants to take many women down in leadership in this way, and destroy marriages in the process. She desires also to silence many of my brides from their call and the work of the prophet that I have given to all. All my brides are prophets. You are called to declare the words I share with you in the secret place onto the rooftops, so many will come to know of my great love, compassion, and tenderness. And because of this, you'll be attacked heavily by the Spirit, who will continue to seek to oppress, suppress, and silence you once and for all. When you start to feel any of these symptoms, my beloved ones, run to me. Take up a day of fasting and prayer, and I will come to your aid and deliver you from its oppressive ways and influence. For those who may have a brother, son, or spouse who may be under the influence of Ahab's spirit, you can fast on their behalf, so they can be set free. Many times as those who many may refer to being a mama's boy, who are easily prone to this, but not all. The prison systems are full of men who have been held captive by this spirit through bloodline curses and through the traumas their mothers went through. Mothers, your roles are so vital and so important. Life comes from the mother, my beloved brides. Blood to the child comes from the mother upon birth. So the things you say, the things you do, what you retain, my beloved daughters, affects your children for generations. You have the ability to raise up a man or raise up a child by the way you respond to pain, your response to rejection, and your response to love. My mother was a wonderful example of humility of virtue. I didn't see her become embittered when betrayed, resentful when falsely accused, and wanting to have control over her household. She understood her role perfectly and taught me the same, to always submit myself to the will of God, good or bad. That it all worked out in the Father's will to refine me, mold me, and make me who I am called to be, and prepare me for what I'm called to do. It was these lessons of her example that gave me strength in Gethsemane to say, Father, not my will be done, but yours. Mothers, your children need to see that in you as well. Pain can be transferred to a child. Pain can be felt by your child, even as they're young, and so can the bitterness and unforgiveness you hold on to affect them negatively. When you learn to let go, forgive, allow me to heal your heart and be free to love again. Show compassion and kindness, then they will do the same. Children learn principles from their fathers and emotional understanding from their mothers. Ahab's mother was very overbearing. The mother made the decision for the house, and her heart was constantly embittered towards her husband. As a child, she was constantly belittled and now took the opportunity to ensure she would have her way, even if she had to use manipulation to get it. Though the father was a strong man, he yielded to his wife's wishes time and time again, slowly handing her over the authority and power to lead the family. So when Ahab married Jezebel, it was very easy for him to sit back and allow his wife to make the majority of the decisions by consulting spirits, by means of evil practices, and making decisions that led to their destruction, just because she wanted power and influence. Renounce these spirits, my bride. Bind its influence over your lives, over your marriages, and tell it to leave now in Jesus' name. Many of you are under her oppression, and it's time for the spirit to go. I'm bringing your deliverance now. This all ties into the blood battles which was taught to you at the prayer camp. Share my servant's teachings on this channel, its impact and your experience, and I will bless it. And that was the end of Jesus' message. So family, forgive me. I intend to put these messages together this next following week to share with you guys what I learned at the consecration camp. And another thing, guys, we're very, very low on donations. We only have $65 to put towards our weekly street ministry outreach. And we have many of the Heart Dweller missionaries and volunteers who are needing support this month, and the ministries you support as well. Please donate to us. Any amount would be appreciated. God bless you. To the next message.